Welcome to Sales Bites by Journey, where we talk about everything you need to know to be a killer at sales. I'm your host, Will Jenkins. Let's get it.
Oh, welcome to Sales Bites by Journey. Today we have Sherman Barnes, Vice President of Sales at Bennett Motor Express. Sherman, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, it's really cool to get a chance to learn from you, man. I actually had the opportunity to meet you via LinkedIn, learned a little bit about your sales experience, and was very impressed with some of the stuff that you've been able to do, man. So we appreciate you sharing some of your knowledge here with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. So one of the topics we're going to attack is going to be selling via email. We had lunch a while back, and you were telling me about some of your strategies with selling via email, and I was writing stuff down. I'm like, man, this is gold. So let's take it to the top, man. I know you do quite a lot of sales via email, so just break a couple things down for us. How do you approach it? What do you think about in terms of what you're going to say or how you tailor emails, all that good stuff?
Yes. So I've been in the business since 2005, and initially I had to send manual emails via Outlook one at a time. And then I started sending additional emails, and I tried to send it 50 at a time. And I learned it, they'd block you and different things would happen. So back then it was a little bit challenging, but now you have the constant contacts of the world, Sender, MailChimp, a lot of different tools. There are other tools that you can use as well that are organic that you can create yourself through coding. So what I use a lot is MailChimp, but you can use Constant Contact. You can use a lot of things. And what I try to do, I use also Zoom Info quite a bit. I prefer that over Seamless AI. You can use them. They have other tools as well, like Apollo IO.io is another tool that you can use, Sales Navigator. So I've used all of these tools. I just personally have found what's worked best for me has been MailChimp. And so what I try to do is as I engage with leads, I add them to my email list, and then I reach out to them with updates about what the company's doing, if we landed a new customer, if we're going into a new region. I come up with legitimate reasons to reach out to them to inform them about our business. I'm not too pushy, but I do reach out with regularity, because what I find is that, let's say that I've done this before, I'll give someone a lead. They'll reach out to the person one time, call them maybe 2 times that week. They don't answer. They'll email them maybe for the next 3 weeks, and then they give up too soon. In my experience, people give up way too soon, particularly in a market like this one where customers do not need help and capacity is abundant. You'll have to follow up. Now, I can't call you every day. I can't blow you up every day. I can't email you every day. That's insane. But some level of cadence, it may be weekly, it may be biweekly, depending on what it is. I consistently reach out to the customer, because a no today does not mean a no next week, does not mean a no in 3 months. And I also try to utilize, customer relationship management tools. So as a reminder of who to reach out to when, so that I'm not tripping over myself. So if I reach out to a customer in email and they say, hey, reach back out in Q2 of 2025, I put that in the CRM system. So they'll send me a reminder a month in advance or whatever to reach out to the customer. And then I have a reason to follow up. Hey, I followed up, I reached out to you 3 months ago. You mentioned your RFP's coming up, let me know, have we been added to the carrier list or whatever it may be. So those are some of the tools that I use. But the biggest feedback I give you, man, is because I personally give leads. We don't do everything. We don't do air and ocean, right? We're specialized in flatbed, heavy haul, step deck, and some truckload. So when I get those opportunities, I'll hand them a lead, and I find that the person will reach out to them 2, 3, 5 times, and then they give up. And you can't do that, man. It's really about the consistency.
We do a lot of coaching here at Journey at the executive level when we think about building process for sales and structure. And then at the individual contributor level, same thing. How do you build your sales process? What's your outreach look like? And one of the most important pieces in the beginning is consistency with your ideal customer profile and having relevant messaging. So it is certainly timing. Right now, customers don't really need you. Rates are as low as they've been. Capacity is plentiful. So probably going to ignore you, man. If you only send 3 or 4 emails, good luck. It's going to be tough sledding in a market like this.
It 100%. I mean, I send massive amounts of emails every single week without fail. And I know the data. I know when open rates are good. I know when open rates are low. I can tell what's going on in the market even from that. Because while the average person
Yeah.
may be reaching out to 5 or 6 people, I'm reaching out to way more than that. I'm not going to say the number, but I'm reaching out to way more than that
Sure.
consistently. And I can't tell you the amount of opportunities, Will, that I've gotten from customers that I've been emailing for 6 months. I've gotten opportunities from customers I've been emailing for over a year. Hey, I've been seeing you in your
Totally.
messaging. Okay, I'm gonna give you a shot. Quote me this, do this. Hey, we got an RFP coming up. Like, it comes from the consistency. So the subject line, doing different A to B experiments, those things are important, and we definitely should do those things. But my biggest thing has been consistency. It's like a commercial, right? Like, farmers insurance. We are farmers. Dun, 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 dun. I know that because they're always on the television. And so there really is, in the human psyche,
Yeah.
with so much data coming at people, you got to stay top of mind. You got to continue
Yeah.
to follow up. So that's the biggest key. And I say even more so with email marketing, because as I coach salespeople and talk to different salespeople from my team or whatnot, they give up too soon, man, especially now.
Totally. So there's 2 points. Oh yeah, dude, it's a battle. This market will test your sales persistence. It'll test everything about, how your mentality about going after it, because it's not easy. But if you can learn how to sell in this market, you'll be extremely successful long term. I want to hit on 2 things that you mentioned, one of which I've never been very good at, and the other I think is just important in general. So you talked about using MailChimp and sending emails en masse and staying in front of people. One of the things that I think people have a hard time with is sending good tailored emails to people or being spammy, right? They don't know how to draw the line between that. They either send too many and they're too generic, or they spend way too much time customizing so they don't get through enough touches. So using anything like a MailChimp or a mass marketing tool, I've never had a lot of success at that. I've had a lot of success with tailored emails to an ICP with really good messaging, but I've got a lot to learn about how to send stuff out in masses. How do you work through that? That seems unique, super unique.
Well, because I've been doing it for several years, man. I mean, I've been email marketing for, gosh, easily 10. So I just know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know the cadence. I know what day of the week works best. And now what's happened is, with
Yeah.
Constant Contact or MailChimp, they can help you orchestrate or choreograph emails and knowing when to follow up. So it's so that it does not become spammy. Another thing, if someone asks to be removed, I instantly, there's a open unsubscribe button at the email. That's critically important as well. But then if somebody says, "Hey, I'm not interested," I'll take them off myself, because if they don't want to be reached out to, I will not reach out to them. So it's a delicate balance, because, to your point, you don't want to over engineer the email, but you don't want to make it too spammy either. And I'll give you kind of a little bit of an example why. The reason why I don't over engineer is the same reason why I don't over engineer sales calls. There have been times where some companies I've worked at, and some sales philosophies, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but they'll have you to do a ton of research on this one company. And then, so you're taking like a week to do research and get the email perfectly right and the messaging perfectly, da da da. You call them, it's like, Will, dude, I'm sorry, man, you just missed the RFP. Reach out to me in 6 months.
Right.
That was a waste of my time. So I want to be decently prepared, but I loved your term, over engineering, overthinking. It's important to continue to stay
Yep.
action oriented. So do your homework, yes, but do it quickly and then get in front of the customer.
Sure. Yeah.
And so to your point, I don't
Totally.
over engineer it. I don't under engineer it. And I just pay close attention to the numbers and to the open rates and when is the appropriate time. And am I reaching out to people too much? I've just learned that over time. And that's what people will have to learn by doing it. Nobody can do it for you. You just have to learn it yourself.
It's the Goldilocks zone of sales preparation, because I've had analysis paralysis where you look up all this stuff and you've got all these things you think they might say and the perfect email. And then, man, they don't answer the phone. They don't respond to your email, and you spend all this time, and shoot, man, I could have been digging through some other options. So you got to find that gold. It's tough. It's not
tough.
easy. You got to find it, because you don't want it to be too generic. You don't want generic.
Correct. And I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of what I'm going to tell you, I can tell you techniques and,
Yeah.
ideas and different things to tweak, but being persistent, following up, being action oriented, that'll get you there in the long run. That'll get you there in the long run for sure.
Beautiful. So you hit on something earlier that I want to close with here, which is awareness. I've learned a lot about this the last year or so. Quite a lot of our business at Journey comes inbound through LinkedIn. And a lot of that is because of LinkedIn presence and being, in front of people and stuff like that. But you mentioned, hey, like Farmers Insurance, just putting stuff out there consistently. And then when you get your shot, you get your shot. Talk to me about how you use email as an awareness tool, but you're not overly salesy, because some people, boy, every email is a sales pitch, and that's not always the right approach.
Right. So as there are changes that are happening, in the marketplace or about our company, I'll share that information in the email. So like, for example, congratulations. I know you're coming out with Academy or whatnot is great. So that's something that you can share in an email with customers that are subscribed to you. So they may be a customer, they may be a prospect. It may just be someone that reached out on LinkedIn and you guys aren't engaged yet. That's good information for them to know. So that's not a sales pitch. It's just more of, here's something that's going on new and exciting with Journey. It may be something that's going on in the marketplace, a supply chain issue or some novel thing that's happened in the market. I do that as well. So I reach out to customers with those things as well. So that it's not only gimme, I need, I want. I share information with them that's valuable, which creates a dialogue too.
Awesome, man. This has been really, really cool, really helpful to hear some of how you approach your sales via email. I'm going to add a couple notes here, and then if you have anything else to add, let me know. So here's what I wrote down. You use some of the tools like MailChimp and Zoom Info to send automated emails, but there is a level of tailoring to the contact, so it's not too spammy. You mentioned don't give up too soon. It's a persistence game. You need to stay in front of opportunities long enough. Utilize your CRM to know who to reach out to and when. Consistency is key. Using your emails as an awareness tool is important. And then everything doesn't have to be a sales email. So market updates, sharing valuable information is helpful as well. So anything else that you think is key as you get better or become comfortable with selling via email?
I undergird so LinkedIn is important. I email, but then I also text. Now, I don't text everyone, but if we've had a conversation and I'm trying to develop a relationship, we may not even be doing business together. I may take them out to lunch, whatnot. I'll text interesting information as well about the market and kind of get their opinion about it. Like, I'm seeing this in the market. What are you seeing, Mr. Customer, in the market? Does this jive? Sure. And we'll have a dialogue and discussion. So we're becoming friends through that process. So I do. So email is critically important, but I definitely use LinkedIn as an awareness tool. And then once I have their personal information, I've got permission because we go on a lunch or done something together, then I'll email them like a friend would, because then it's just a conversation about the market. I mean, I'm talking about other things, but it'll be something. So if I see something on Freight Waves or about the market's doing this or tender rejections or whatever, I'll text them and, hey, what do you think? So that's been helpful too in developing some relationships, and I've gotten opportunities from that as well.
Huge. Well, very sophisticated sales style, Sherman, man. I really appreciate it. It's been amazing getting a chance to learn from you. And thank you very much for joining Sales Bites.
Thanks for having me.